Well, in 9 days, the Fed will end quantitative tightening. And according to Ted here, last time this happened, Bitcoin dropped. However, as the top comment even says, the last time was the repo blowup. A different setup now. Is this end of quantitative tightening going to bring in gains for the first time in about 3 months? Well, great question. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is still down. We had a little bit of a bounce yesterday. Low bouncing exactly at about 80,600. The lowest we've been since April of 2025. So 7 months. We're the most dumped on that we've been in 7 months. Obviously, the daily RSI is, or the daily MACD and daily RSI are just absolutely cratering. This is the MACD lowest it's been since, August of 2023. What was happening in August of 2023? Well, we can look at this chart. August of 2023 was all the way back here at, this is August of 2024. Where is August of 2023? My gosh. Yeah, the price was back at about 25K. So just less than a year off of the whole bottom of the entire bear market. So yeah, we've gotten absolutely dumped on. But is it all bad? No. We see Bitcoin flash the most oversold signal since $25,000 per coin. As well, that same signal, the daily RSI, this is since August of 2023, the lowest that we've seen. So there's got to be a bounce coming. There's got to be. And you better believe when that bounce comes, I'm going to be live. I'm going to be making videos. So get subscribed if you're not already. I'm going to be doing videos and live streams every day, unless I don't want to. Pretty convincing. So let's continue here. This is actually really big. Japan has approved a 23 trillion yen stimulus package, which is exactly the thing that the U.S. basically has to do for these markets to go completely berserk. If the U.S., if Japan is signaling the same thing that is coming in the U.S., then this is actually probably the single most bullish thing that could be happening in terms of actually seeing price go up. Because as I've been saying for the past couple weeks, there's no shot we're going to bounce unless really liquidity comes in. As well, we see an end to quantitative tightening, which again, we're going to be seeing in just a couple of days here. And until then, as I've also been saying, I don't think we even have a chance of an actual pump until even a dead cat bounce pump until probably the beginning of December 1st even. But also in other news, Bitcoin falls below the average ETF cost basis for the first time in 2025, meaning we've gotten completely dumped on. This actually further shows us how much we've been dumped on. We melted through the 50-week moving average, but we're also trading right now below the 100-week moving average. This is the first time we're testing this level since the start of this cycle back in 2023 at the bottom. We have less than a day or right about a day left until we get a weekly candle close. Will the weekly be below not only the 50-week, but also the 100-week? That is how dumped on we've been. Absolutely, completely dumped on. Now, keep in mind, I don't love weekend price action. I don't think anyone really does, but weekend scam pump is possible. So, but also, if we actually look at the price of Bitcoin right now, it's also possible we just trade sideways. Don't do much. Currently, we're down 0.69%. Nice. I don't know how I always get so lucky that every time I look at the percentages, it's always around 69. Nice. I guess I'm manifesting 69. 69 is a great temperature in Fahrenheit, by the way. It's actually probably the ideal temperature. Isn't that kind of interesting? Bitcoin history never repeats exactly, but liquidity does. Japan's 10-year yield is ripping again. Is Japan kind of indicating something we're going to be seeing for Bitcoin here? It's possible. Last time Bitcoin dumped 20% before headlines caught up. It's not local. It's global liquidity repositioning. This is a signal. If we take a look, actually, let me zoom down or scroll down so you can see here. Yen carry trade, we saw a Bitcoin 20% dump. Are we actually about to see another Bitcoin dump here? One of the top comments here says, strong observation, global liquidity shifts always ripple through crypto. Japan's yield spike could be the canary in the coal mine again. Watching how USD liquidity reacts will be key for Bitcoin's move. And as well, if Bitcoin dumps here, alts are completely even more banged than they already are, but they're already completely banged anyway. Over 2 billion in longs will get liquidated if Bitcoin falls below 80K at this time. However, that's exactly where we've bounced. So 80K has been a bounce zone. If we fall below it, we're getting absolutely cooked. And as we all know, extreme fear is the lowest that we've seen since the FTX collapse when Bitcoin was around 20K. Absolutely crazy. This is a question maybe leave in the comments. Do you still believe in alt season? Okay, we've gone about actually I think we've gone basically now 4 years without an alt season, like an actual alt season. One of the top comments here says altcoins are way too saturated. The days of altcoins are pretty much over. Do you guys agree with that? I would love to hear what you think about altcoins in the comments below. 4 years without an altcoin season. This is the alt season index right here on the screen. And remember, we had that little bit of a tease, I believe, back in November of 2024. And we can look at the chart. This is what it looked like as well, right here-ish. And we did have a tease. Honestly, the altcoin market did look kind of good up until September. Very beginning of October is when it started dumping. Coincidentally, right around when CZ was released. And then Alex Becker also says Max Payne is obviously up. If you read the timeline, sentiment is just garbage. And I've never seen such desperation for a bear market, he says. It's, in my opinion, it's kind of 50-50. I feel like half the people are bullish, half are bearish. I ran a poll yesterday and actually was pretty spot on. Like, it was basically almost 50-50. Like, half the people were bullish, half were bearish. We're also seeing bearish divergences playing out for Bitcoin, further contributing to absolute dumpiness. Tom Lee. What is going on with this guy? I love this guy, but like the top comment just tells him to shut the F up. But yeah, Bitcoin to rebound to about 200K by January's end. Where does this guy get off? Does he know something we don't know? The answer is no. I don't think he does know anything that we don't know. But yeah, as I said, fear and greed index is just sitting very low, the lowest we've seen since FTX and even Luna. This market is full of fear. And that has never been more clear. And I didn't even mean to rhyme there. But we are seeing a little bit of a bounce on the weekly. We have 1 day left in terms of Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins obviously look like garbage. ETH is at 2,700. Bitcoin is sitting right at about 84 after getting the smallest amount of life. Not very reassuring. I think this is a very good buy zone. We see a lot of VRVP liquidity sitting right at around 84, which is so far where we're holding. No gigantic volume on this chart until basically right near those previous all-time highs in the very low 70,000s to even 69,000. Nice. But as we've been saying, right around the 76, 77 to about $80,000 range, where these lows in the spring dump of 2025 happened, I think there's going to be, well, there is liquidity there, but I also think that's a very good bottoming zone before the big bounce. And I want to clarify, I want to keep clarifying that what I mean by a big bounce still is likely just a dead cat bounce. I don't think that if we, let's say we go here, maybe trade for a week and then have a big bounce. I'm not saying we're going to do this. I think that's very unlikely at this point. We need to rebuild structure on longer time frames. So a dead cat bounce probably, this is exactly what I think it would look like. Basically this, rejected here, or we trade sideways here and maybe we can rebuild some of this higher time frame structure and then we could go up. But right now, the ball is in the bears' court. The bears have control right now. And until that changes, it's silly to assume that any bounce is like a long-lasting bounce, especially because we have fears in the stock market and broader economy about the AI bubble and stuff like this. So have to keep watching and waiting for that. The US dollar is as well having a little bit of a resurgence over the past 2 months. Not very big, but it's up 5 points, 4 points in the past couple of months. Again, not drastic. It was completely destroyed basically ever since October of 2022, but it's having a little bit of life. So yeah, I think that basically sums it up. If you guys do want to buy altcoins or trade, you can sign up with the links below and as well get subscribed for daily videos, live streams, and yeah, hopefully things get bigger than people ever imagined. But for right now, we're about to experience a weekly close that could be bigger than anyone expects. Yep.